Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Basketball coming through. On Friday nights for you and your crew. Basketball got award after award, but we not gonna stop. 100 miles per hour, all the way to the top. Basketball coming through. On Friday nights for you and your crew. Basketball got award after award, but we not gonna stop. 100 miles per hour, all the way to the top.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Doing this thing. It is 2021. So
Thank
that little
God.
man, that little crusty, nasty, dirty 2020 is out of here. So I'm gonna suggest that y'all not funk up 2021. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I am the bad man, aka the black sheep, aka Mr. TMI. I am Tate.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is your petite powerhouse, Miss Allison Denise. And you're
Give
still
it to us.
muted. Still muted.
Hold on. Give it to us. Give it to us. Take yourself. There you go. We got to hear it. Give it to us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's 2021. I call it 2020 Part 2. What's going on, y'all? I am Demo.
And it's apparent that we are still the Bad Squad, Season 5, Episode 1. Stick that up, yo, you know what. But, hey, I'm going to tell you like this. We got a very special show tonight. We have our guest, Mr. Selwyn Jones, the uncle of George Floyd. We're going to be doing an exclusive interview with him. So, therefore, your traditional Bad Squad show will not be tonight as far as the high fives, the topic, the TMIs. All of that is out the window tonight because we have a very special guest and we want to always be in the we don't never want y'all to forget. Never want y'all to forget what we had to endure in 2020, which one of the major stories was Mr. George Floyd. We never want y'all to forget. So, America, y'all always want us to never forget 9/11. We don't never want y'all to forget George Floyd and all the other people who have fell victim to police violence. So we're about to get our show started. But before that, I got to pay some respect to our sponsor. And I'm going to tell you like this. Our sponsor this evening is called White Cup.
White Cup.
White Cup. This is typically what we have at our parties. And it's either the White Cup or the Red Cup. But
hey, Tate. You know something?
What's up?
Hey, your cup is actually transparent and it's actually displaying the
so
real color of white. No, it's cool.
Yeah,
that's how white's supposed to look.
School us, Debo. Give us some Debo.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Give us some
Deep
Debo.
with Demo.
Deep
That's
with
what she
Demo.
said.
So, my stomach hurt already.
That's what she said.
My stomach hurt. And then it is again. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. We supposed to be a little bit more on the serious mode, but you can't get demoed in a serious mode. He looked like the Negro that stole Christmas right now. So we're gonna go ahead and pay respect to our sponsor, Ozone Vodka. Y'all check this out. All right, the party has begun. I know the party began in my cup, and I want to say real quick. I had a secret contest that nobody knew about Ozone on Instagram, and the first person to like the post, I personally delivered them 2 bottles of Ozone vodka. So I want to send a shout out to Miss Christy Ann. Shout out, thank you for supporting, and we really appreciate you. Now, with that being said, we got to get on into it. So, everyone, I want to introduce you to not only the uncle, but I'm going to say the advocate for George Floyd, Mr. Selwyn Jones. Everybody, yeah. Selwyn, what's going on?
Hey, man, what it be? What it be? I want a red cup and a white cup, please. Thank you very much.
And
the yellow one or the blue one will be fine, too.
Oh, my God.
And a cigar on the side.
Allison, hello. My native Goldsboro, Eastern Wayne Warrior.
Yes.
Y'all get that out. Y'all go ahead and get that out the way first. Go ahead.
Hey, baby, how you doing, girlfriend?
I'm good. How are you?
I like them chocolate lips that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you just like this. Folks who have touched those lips got diabetes. So
you know what?
we gonna.
I'm so sick of you. I am so sick of you.
There's many men in the hospital right now with
many men.
I'm still asking about the Grinch that stole Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
So
okay, kids,
I'm gonna
make a serious one here.
All right.
We're gonna open up a little bit by asking you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and just tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Selwyn Jones. I am 54 years old. I'm a black guy with freckles. And I don't have diabetes. I come from a little town.
Right.
Yeah. And I come from a little town called Goldsboro, North Carolina. It's the same place that Miss Allison came from. And what we learned there was a lot of hatred, a lot of bigotry. Most white people there think that you are a boy if you're a man. Most white people think that they're better than anyone. Our black women are not treated with a lot of respect, and that's just that typical Southern style routine that people go through. Grew up in a house without running water, no indoor plumbing. So I grew up really bad, but we had a lot of love, because love is, it's about respect and love. Whenever you leave somebody, you never know when you're going to see them again. I always tell them you love them. I always tell them, hey, thank you. And just dealing with folks over the years has been something that you're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way I haven't wanted to been talked to. And I woke up on May the 26th, and I sat down in front of my television, and I was looking at television, and my mother-in-law and my wife always tried to protect me from incidents in the world, because I'm living in a town of 1,200. The only black person I see is me,
Right.
And I'm looking at the television. I'm thinking, damn, they're going to kill this dude, man. Won't somebody stop him? My phone rings. My sister says, did you see what the police? I set the phone down, and I sat there and I watched it. I watched one of my best buddies, one of mine, scream, cry, beg, plead, bleed, and die because of power and control. And that is what 2020 meant to me. The coronavirus, it was bad in every aspect. But without the coronavirus, we wouldn't all be sitting here talking about this because the coronavirus had all of us sitting indoors, and we literally watched one of our people get murdered in the street like a dog. And he did not have one single chance. Allison, this is for you. He had about as good a chance as the one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest to leave that scene that night, that day. And it's unfortunate, but I tell people this. I traded one of my favorite people to make a change in this world because everybody's hearts and ears and souls are open. If your heart didn't hurt from seeing a grown man lay on the ground that could have been your brother, your uncle, your dad, you don't have a heart. And yeah, and I've been traveling all over the United States, preaching and talking. We've got a couple legislatures that we got to get going, because we've got to stop those people from being gung-ho. They're supposed to de-escalate, not escalate. And if somebody, right. Hey, when we were kids, and you'd be scrapping with somebody, whoever got the butt beat, they took off running. I don't want no more. You laugh. You didn't chase them because you knew it was over. Well, if somebody's running, if a drunk dude is running from a police officer, what kind of damage is he going to do shooting over his shoulder with a taser? He's not going to do any damage. Just like
Absolutely.
People in high speed chases, what do? They let them go home. And they got your information. I'll see your ass in the morning when you got that headache. I'll come and arrest you. But you have a lot of overzealous police officers that were in the military that believe in let's shoot first because I want to go home. Well, when you sign on the dotted line to be a police officer, you got to be a social worker. You got to be a counselor. You got to be a nurse. You have to be all of these things. One thing I didn't say, y'all, is you don't have to be a killer. And that's the problem that we're having, man. A black man gets sentenced for the same crime that a Caucasian person gets sentenced for. His sentence is 3 years more. Why is that? Why is there 2.4 million people incarcerated in the United States jails? And out of that 2.4 million, over a million of them are black. Why is that? We have 4% of the world's population, but we have 40% of the crime. Why is that? And
Absolutely.
And so you know what it is,
So let me ask you this. I think I only said it a couple of times on the show, but it wasn't until his funeral in North Carolina that I found out I was related to him. And at that point I was torn because I didn't know if that was a blessing or a curse. Like on the one hand, it would have been nice to have known my relative. On the other hand, I don't know if I was protected from whatever pain I may have felt having watched that. And so with you actually having history with brother George, do you have a fond memory? Do you have, do you know tell us something that I don't know about him because I didn't get to meet him as a relative, and tell us, one thing that hasn't been said about him because people have been so busy trying to pick apart his life.
First of all, I talked to you before we were going to North Carolina, and I said, Allison, you could go to the memorial. You could go with me because you're family. But now you don't know how to answer your damn messages.
No, we didn't talk until after because I didn't know who he was until after. We didn't talk until after.
I remember us having this conversation. Dear George, what you see in me is what you see in George. Besides, he's about 4 inches taller, and he's got less melatonin in his skin. But same person. We like to laugh. We like to joke. We were raised by. I don't think you ever met my mama, but Lauren Jones, old big country girl. And We didn't have a damn thing. We didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But we would drink Kool-Aid or sweet tea and play ball in the field. And we all had respect and love for one another. And man, I miss his big smile. Unc. I remember when we were little kids. Well, they were there. He was like 8 years younger than I was. I'd lock them in the car. I'd dig a hole and bury them in it and stuff, and they'd be all bad and stuff to me. I'm that uncle, man. I bury them up to the chest. I'm that uncle. I'm the crazy uncle. And I just remember just a lot of fun things. And the last time I saw him, we were in Minneapolis. We went to the Congo Club, and we walked past a dude that we know that he knew, I knew. I don't know how they say they don't know each other, but I've seen him enough times that I knew who he was. And we'd have a good time, laugh, joke. That's what you do when you're from Goldsboro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You hang around with family, and you take one chicken between 32 people, and you have a party. You know what I'm saying?
He's
and
right.
just enjoyed each other. Back in the old days. The young days are a little bit different now. But he was just a good dude. He had a good heart, a good soul. He was human. There's no saints in this world. There is absolutely no saints. Somebody has done something in their life that they probably could stick their head in the sand and say, damn, I wish I could get about that. Unfortunately, he had a couple of those opportunities. He's been to prison a couple of times. But because you go to prison don't mean that you're not a man. Doesn't mean that you're any different than anybody else, black, blue, green, white, or purple. Just means that they only have to get lucky one time. And, addiction is something that we all know about being black people. We have had somebody in our family that unfortunately went down that road. And it's a bad road. Now, we're gonna go through a little sequence here. From 1986 to 1996, guess what happened to black folks? Crack cocaine. In 2014 and 15, called opioid epidemic. How many people in the opioid epidemic get locked up in jail? They go to rehab. The people from the 80s in the crack era, they got locked up in jail. So you have a bunch of crackheads raising babies. So I've got problems with a lot of things that's happened in our life because we're black. The GI Bill, 1941, after the war, they wanted to make a suburban area, a middle class family. Well, all the Caucasian people got the middle class, got the GI Bill. Guess what our family got? They call it government housing. That's the project. So we've had to battle. We're the only people in the world that had to negotiate for our life and for how we live. Hell, you figure 60 years ago, we couldn't go we couldn't go eat in a restaurant that we worked in. We couldn't go in the front door. Allison, do you remember Scott's Barbecue?
I'm a Wilbur's girl, but yes.
Okay. Well, my daddy worked at Wilbur's.
That's from the other side.
My daddy worked at Wilbur's. But Scott's Barbecue, Martell Scott and them, you could not go in the front door as a black person until 1970, and they're black. So that's where we come from. We've learned a whole lot of lessons from people in our life coming from the little spot that we come from. And the only thing that it showed me when I watched my nephew get completely controlled and dominated is how folks have treated us our whole life. And I can't speak enough about the type of person he was, because if you think I'm a fool and humorous, the same dude. It's just on May the 25th, Derek Chauvin had a bad day. And that bad day made my nephew's day really bad. But like I said, I just got to believe that. Two things. All the quasars lined it up on that particular day. And because my nephew had missed his calling and was not doing everything that he should have and needed to do to accomplish his goals. The man upstairs said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to make a decision today that's going to change the whole world." And you know, you sit there, and if you can remember, he says, "Mama, they're going to kill me." He narrated his own death. He narrated his own death. And if that ain't enough to make you cry or shake you up inside, you're not human. You're not human. So for the first time in my life, I honestly see we're able to make a change because people's eyes are open, their hearts are open, their souls are open. And that's, hey, I didn't ask for this job. I did not ask for this job. I could have stayed here at my little motel and sit here and look across the damn fence and watch it snow. We probably got 30 inches of snow outside right now. And watch my baby ride the go-kart and just live happily ever after. But I can't now. I can't now. I cannot go to sleep without seeing my nephew's face saying, "Mama, help me." And I honestly believe, hold on.
You good?
We're back. I honestly believe, my bad. I honestly believe that you got me? Okay. I honestly believe that she had her hands out. She said, "Mama." You know? So, yeah, all man. Right. And that's what I got to live with every day.
Demo, what you have?
Demo?
Oh, man, I don't know. All the contacts that you've been able to run into, I know you guys are talking about working on some legislative things. Is there anything in depth that you're willing to share with us that you're working on that can actually change something? I mean, and the reason why I asked is because if we look at the video and we see Chauvin murdering Floyd on camera, and they're still finding a way to defend it, it's still an unclear cause of death. So what legislative can be passed that's going to protect us?
Kamala Harris changed to the George Floyd Policing Act so we could get rid of immunity. Profiling of people. A lot of things have been started, but you know just as well as everybody else know, because of that right there, a lot of things start, but are they ever finished?
Right.
You know?
Right. That's my concern.
That's the problem. When you talk about David Chauvin murdering my nephew, you know where David Chauvin is right now?
Probably out on bond.
But where at?
Hiding in a camp, in a protected camp.
Home. I bet he's home.
He's not home.
No.
Where is he?
He's not home. He's in Miami.
That upsets me. That really
he's in Miami right now. He's in Miami right now.
I think he's having a little video trouble. You having a little video trouble where you're frozen?
I don't know. Hold on for a second.
Okay, no problem. And just for everyone out there that's just tuning in, we are having a live interview with the uncle of George Floyd, and that is Mr. Selwyn Jones. If you have any questions out there that you would like to ask, please feel free to put it in the chat room, and I'll go ahead and we're gonna ask him those questions. So while he's having a little technical difficulties, Demo, I'm gonna have a little ozone. to get the wolf off my back.
Hey, I don't have any yet, but I want to touch on what Selwyn was talking about with the qualified immunity. I knew that had started, but has it spread across to all the police? Because if they violate, and I may have this wrong, but if they violate any of your constitutional rights, they lose their qualified immunity. Correct?
That's how it's supposed to be. But everything has been pushed to the back burner because people promised a lot of people. I probably shouldn't say this, but hey, I got a little bit different thought process and a little bit different engine than everybody else. All the people that's been murdered, family members, I figure me and Breonna Taylor's cousin, Tawan Gordon, are the only ones that's pounded. I don't give a damn about no damn money. I got a couple dollars. I don't care about that. I don't care about the limelight. All I know is this: if you can hear my voice and you can see my face, you're listening to me. And those people that promised those things that they were supposed to do, don't have to call no names, because we've seen how the things progressed here a couple weeks ago. They need to stand up and make their word right. And that Immunity Act is bigger than anything that we've ever dealt with, because honestly, think about it. People would think twice about taking somebody's life or using force. It's like my man in the kid in Philadelphia that had a mental problem. He walks outside with a butter knife. I've been on that spot. I went there. He walks outside with a butter knife. There's 2 street lights over the damn house. Okay? Don't you know that if somebody comes at you with a butter knife and you have a taser, you have mace, why not make that decision to give this dude a chance to live? You're going to shoot him because he had mental complications?
Here's something I want to say to that. Selwyn, this is what I believe. They are trained to handle those situations. However, they choose to handle our situation with deadly force, because we've seen video after video after video of young white boy going wild, stealing the police car, doing everything in the world, coming out with a gun, coming out with knives, coming out thinking they ninjas, and they're able
killing
to
non-black people,
killing up a church, shooting a bunch of students, and they're able to take them alive. They're able to.
Their asses, they're still living. They're still living.
Exactly.
The redheaded dude in Denver that shot up the kid's place.
Yep.
He shot what he killed, like 20 kids, injured like 40. Guess what? His ass will be out of jail before he dies. He's in an insane asylum. The little boy that killed the black people in Charleston, South Carolina, they invited this kid in their church to pray for him. He waited until they dropped their heads and killed him. Then, when they found his ass, can I have some water and some food?
Took his ass to Burger King.
Took him to Burger King.
So I think that
so here's, go ahead, Demo. Go ahead, Demo.
No, I was gonna say, I think that takes me back to my question, saying what legislative could be passed. I mean, this is bigger than that.
The George Floyd bill has to be passed. That no-knock warrant. Come on, y'all. Come on, Allison. We come from where we're from. If you wake up and there's somebody standing in your house, what are you gonna do?
We shooting, and we're gonna ask questions later.
Demo, what you gonna do?
Yeah, put that on them.
Especially if your wife is standing in your damn house with a mask on. You lighting his ass. Whoops, I'm sorry. You lighting his tail up.
Oh, we cuss. You good?
Hey, ass is an approved word.
Allison just ain't got started yet.
That's all. That's all.
But all I'm saying is, there's 2 set of rules.
Yeah.
And those rules, the world, have got to make make people accountable for killing us. Hell, there's been 6 people that shot Blake. I mean, I talk to his dad all the time. How in the hell? Once again, I'm in and I can understand. There's no telling what he's reaching for in that car. But don't you know, if you're on a police, you could have tased his ass or maced him. You had hold of him. But instead of that, you step back, draw, and put 7 in him. And you know, it kills me and it bothers me, because what they're doing is most of these situations are happening with poor people, people in poverty.
Right.
So you know what the folks do? If they offer them $2-3 million, it's done. They could care less about it. they could literally care less about it because they get that little money in their hand, and
And
that
two,
changes
$3
their
million
life.
$2-3
Ain't
million
a damn
is like $2. It's like $2 to them coming out of that bucket that they have to shut us up. And
yeah.
Yeah.
So
here,
we've got to drum that this summer. This summer comes and we'll be able to get out some. I'm going to be every place, sometime, all the time.
right,
I'm going to get a seat. I'm going to get a seat at the table because I just honestly, man, and I hate to keep going back to Miss Alyssa. I come from hell. I come from where white people worked you like hell. And they would have a little interaction with you in the summer. You go to school. They absolutely didn't know who the hell you were because that's how they were. That's how they were taught. We're better than them. Well, sometimes people ask me when I do colleges, people ask me about racism. Do you think there's really anything like racism? You know what I tell them? Pull up lynching photos. How many black people do you see standing on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
How many
Right.
black people do you see standing on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
None, because they're all hanging up in a tree. And you've got people. Did you see the look in David Chauvin's eyes right when Perry was dead, and he kept rolling his knee? Look like, hey, I got this big game. I just killed this big game.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Absolutely. Like he was hunting.
yep.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up and that's what I see. I had a Confederate flag on a police uniform in my little hometown. And before Perry was dead, and before Perry was buried, I never once had anybody come and say, give me my condolences. Because Alyssa, it's just like we're back home. Those people, as long as you didn't argue with them or dispute them, you were fine. But once you wanted to buck the tiger, you were dumb. I called him. I left the memorial, called the mayor on the phone. Hey man, that flag can't be on a police uniform patch. Well, it's for historical purposes. There ain't been no damn war in no damn Gettysburg, South Dakota. Never have one. Never have one.
Right. Right.
But yeah, you got all these damn people walking around. Yee-hoo! I want to put another fact on the legislation. If you're riding around with a Confederate flag in the back of your truck, that's like riding around with a SWAT sticker because that's promoting hate. What else is that telling you? If you come from where we're from, you see a redneck, you see a flag, Confederate flag, I ain't messing with him. I'm going to catch his ass in the dark,
Right.
because he's telling me what he feels about me. And every time you see a Confederate, hey, we had a Klan rally out here. They call them the Patriots now. I went to go play softball, and I look on my phone, somebody hit me up and said, yo, man, look at your phone. There was a Caucasian lady that checked into my motel. They put a Confederate flag on her vehicle and set it out in front of my parking lot. And every person within 2 counties was texting, did you get a picture of the flag in that motel parking lot? Now, this is the shit that you got to go through if you're black. And
Right.
I ain't leaving because I don't spend too much cabbage here. So I got to be here. But I see, I went in the hardware store and I seen one of these suckers that said some bad shit to me online and he kept running out of the store. And the dude that owns the store's like, why is he leaving? There must be a fire. I'm like, no, his ass finna get lit up. What it was. That's why he took off running. I want to see if I can't show you this.
So Selwyn,
Hold
while
on.
you look for that, we
Wait.
actually got a couple of questions in our chat room for
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so the one that I want to put out there from Rashida, thank you for tuning in, Rashida. Rashida says, what do you think is the most important thing you want people to know about George? I think you kind of hit on that a little earlier. And let's really get the second part of the question. What can we do to protect George's legacy?
Open your eyes. Let's use our voice. Because guess what? Not saying anything don't help anybody. Use your voice. Have peaceful protests. Hey, get a group and let's all sit around and talk about our blackness or something. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't about black. It ain't about Black Lives Matter. It ain't about white lives matter. All lives matter. My nephew was a human being. He was a kind human being that loved his family, that wasn't perfect. But did he deserve to die in the middle of the street like a dog because some white man had a bad day? No, he didn't. You know, he honestly did not deserve to die. But we've been dying over time because people feel like it's a certain way to handle us. You know,
Right.
like I said, we've already talked about people getting water. We already talked about people feeding. All my nephew wanted was a bottle of water. Now, if you can see this is what I mean by how hateful people are.
And I remember seeing that.
Look at this. This is a meme of somebody saying, I care more about a piece of cloth than I do about selling dope to kids. Now, I have to live in this town every day of my life. And you know what? People say, man, you crazy. Why are you living there? I ain't scared. Because as of May the 26th, and I've always protected myself, you're not going to ever take my pride or try to disrespect me. You know how certain people are. But as of May the 26th, it ain't about me anymore. It's about your babies. It's about your grandbabies. It's about something. Instead of somebody looking at A and said, wow, that's a pretty black girl. No, that's a pretty woman. Besides somebody looking at you and saying, hey, that's a handsome black man. No, you're a beautiful black man. You know what I'm saying? You know, don't single people out, you know, because we're all human beings. So, you know, we got.
And I want to add on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know when you said, you know, that's right. All lives do matter, but the very fact that we have to scream Black Lives Matter points out that there's a problem in this country. And when you say the statement "all lives matter," it's almost like glancing over the fact that we're saying, "Yo, Black Lives Matter," and the reason why we're saying this is because Black lives are being taken without any remorse.
No remorse whatsoever.
So we do agree that all lives matter. However,
but we gotta take care of us. We gotta take care of us. You know?
We gotta take care of us.
And that's why young people like yourself, people like me, need to keep our voice heard. You know, because remember, what movement, honestly, have you seen progress since Mr. King? The one right now, the biggest civil rights movement of all time.
Malcolm X.
You know, yeah.
You know what I'm happy about? You know what I'm happy about though? Since the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King era, I'm happy to see black people are finally not giving a damn about money.
Yeah.
And it is more of moral and self-pride and self-respect over money. I think that there was a chunk of time where they knew that they could buy us and shut us up and do anything to us at that point. We are no longer in that generation of the hush, you don't want to mess up your check.
You know, in early days, the 70s and 80s, what was it? You had a certain amount of people that were in the ghetto, in government housing, and they waited for that check and those food stamps. Because if that's all you knew, that's all you knew. And there's 4 or 5 generations. I know whole families, and I'm sure you do too, Dick. I know 4 or 5 families from the great-grandmama to the grandmama that has been raised in public housing because they never thought that nobody ever showed them that they had worth to achieve or do any better. You know? So we can't settle. And like I said, black people, we're resilient. Hell, you give us 1 shrimp, we're making gumbo for the family. You know? So we're gonna win. But you gotta know what you're fighting for, you know, and respect, dignity. There ain't no empathy anymore. Because I remember the day when you got that ass tore up, and I guarantee you was scared of mom and daddy. You was your daddy looked at you. Oh no, and it wasn't even daddy, it was mama. You know, you look at mama give you that look. Oh shit, you might well don't run. You just lock up because you know that she was gonna take you around in that merry-go-round. And why did they do that? Why do you used to whoop your ass and spin you around and get both of you busy?
Hey, no, that's because we were running.
You try
We
to
try to
wait.
get away.
I got this.
You wouldn't
because
run from my mama. My mama thought
Hey,
you wouldn't run from my mama. My mama thought brick at your ass.
hey, look, I had enough of them, so I can say the reason why you run in a circle is because you're trying to break the momentum of the force. You trying not to get that full impact of it, so you trying to get away. But we so stupid because the longer the belt is, the end part hurt more than anything. You should have got closer to the belt and not away from the belt. Hey, Selwyn, we got another question coming in for you. We got another question coming in for you from David Burns. And David Burns, first of all, he really wants to know, man, how you're holding up since the death of George Floyd. And then his second part of the question is, and what was your initial reaction when you heard or saw the passing of George Floyd?
I have not cried. I have yet to cry. I have yet to cry. I'm not mad at people. I'm mad at how the system is designed. Did you know that the system was designed for white folks to catch us, and they got paid? You didn't even have to be a peace officer. Right after slavery, if you caught a black man, you had the right to catch him. Before 1964, racism was legal. How do I feel? How have I been doing? I'm crazy as hell. Look at me. Oh, you didn't see this, did you? Hey, look at her right there. Look at her. They put me in the damn J2 magazine because I'm so crazy.
So here's what I want to say, because I want to be cautious of time because we're coming close to an end. And you know how I'm going to say, us as black people, we are really emotional. We're really emotional. We like situations like this. It cuts us deep, and we take it deep in our heart. And we have to always know that the people that's standing on the forefront is absolutely 100 with what their intentions are. What can you tell the people to ensure them that your intentions is for the betterment of black people through George Floyd and not a personal come up?
First of all, I've been up for 30 years since I left North Carolina, Goldsboro. I have a 7,000 square foot house. I have a motel that's worth got a couple zeros behind it. So I've been one of those black people that busted my ass because you come from that place. And my mama used to take us through this place called Walnut Creek. And we used to ride through there and look at Christmas lights. And my mama used to cry. And I wondered, why did she cry? About 6 months ago, it came to me. I'm showing you, honey, what we don't have, but I'm showing you. If you put yourself in the right position and work hard, you can have this. I've got an 18-foot Christmas tree in my house. It's about 2 feet short of my ceiling right now. So I reckon I'm just sick. I'm sick, dog. Every day I wake up and I think, what can I do? Just like I found you. Every day, I'm trying to find some way, somehow, so I can get my face out here, so I can let people hear my voice and feel my soul. Because this shit ain't good. This shit's been happening for 400 years, y'all. You know, just unfortunately, your cousin was one of those people that got killed. My nephew, you know? And it's just somehow or another, we got to break the cycle. We have to break the cycle. And I know that I might not get a good feedback on this one. 67% of sisters that have babies don't have what?
Fathers.
Oh, fathers or husbands, men in the house.
Men in the house. 57% of African American families, mama got to raise them. You know?
Right. And there's another piece to that. There's another piece of that statistic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are they single mothers? I mean, why do they have to raise them by themselves? And I think you mentioned a little bit of that earlier about the
Hell,
systematic oppression piece of it.
yeah. hmm people say, God knows, why do people sell drugs? People gotta eat, and it's horrible, horrible. But Alyssa, coming from where we're coming from, what jobs do you have?
Plants.
That's a desperate way to feed your family. And when you come from where we come from, you got to do something. Hell, what do? You work in a chicken house and you pick up a man's chickens all day and he gives you $30. My brother just died last year, and he worked for a dude in Seven Springs, North Carolina. He made $155 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I told him he lived in a fifth wheel between three hog houses. I told the dude, hey man, why don't you buy my air conditioner down there? If you want him to have an air conditioner, why don't you buy my air conditioner? That's the kind of hard things and hard lives that I think just a little bit has changed since George's death. Because we got a chance. We have a chance. I have a chance to change people's hearts, minds, and souls. Because this is what I know. I've got 1,000, 2,000 letters of people in their 70s. Now, sister, once again, I had to keep going back to you. Where we're from, if you're over 70, you've got nothing to do with black folks. Think about it. They're 3 generations from their daddies being slave owners. But I've got letters of 75 and 80-year-old people saying, Mr. Jones, I sure believe in what you're doing. Keep up the good fight. I'm in GQ because of my advocacy. I'm in GQ because I will not let this die. I will not let this die. Can't. And as I reiterate, people ask if I'm scared. You know what, man? Sometimes you don't ask for the jobs that you're given. I was given this job because my nephew died to pretty much take care of the free world. And guess what, man? If I die today, guess what? I know that my heart was still doing the right thing for the right cause. That is trying to help our people be free. And we ain't been free. We ain't been free. And racism will always be around because racism isn't a gene. It is a taught action. There's some dude sitting in his house right now saying, well, you know what? That little black boy he ain't better than you. Just because he can run fast and jump higher don't mean that don't mean nothing, because you're a better person. Black people are supposed to be subservient to us. Think about it. Think about somebody opening their mouth.
The child of God.
Yes.
Or the children of God.
Yeah. All of them are Christian. Think about that. How the hell could you open your mouth and say, you're better than that little Jones boy because he's black? You're better than him because he's living in a house without running water in the toilet. You're better than him because we driving a better car. Well, if that's the case, I'm better than a whole lot of people that I know. But guess what? I ain't. We all have to do this shit together. We're all humans. You know what I'm saying? I'll share my pig feet with somebody easily. Don't matter.
You know about that pig feet? Hold on. I thought that was a Mississippi thing.
No, that's a Goldberg thing, son.
Okay. Yeah, y'all just borrowed it from them. It's a Mississippi thing.
They would be. I think I probably got a couple packs in the deep freezer. Now,
okay.
Mississippi thing is them hog chips.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, it's
I just ate some of them the other day.
He got half.
Hold on. Time out. We
have my phone dropping everything.
Hey, Demo, we have surpassed the country limit, so we're gonna reel this back in.
Hey,
general
I got a question. I got a question for you, Selwyn. I'm gonna add, God, look at the OLD setting in, Allison. I done forgot my daggone question. But this was some serious. I was trying to be serious, and it kicked in, and it totally left me right about now. But I got it. With it being so many with it being so many deaths in the hands of law enforcement that we have seen on camera, right? On camera, or whether it's audio or wherever we have actually personally been put into that situation, why do you feel the death of George Floyd was so impactful to everyone, not just Black people?
You get sick and tired of being sick and tired. COVID is the worst thing that's ever happened since the flying swoop. I mean, flying. That country goes for flying flu. And what I'm telling you is, you had 220 million people to see this in one day. You've had 6 billion people see this. Darnella Frazier had the guts and the heart and the soul to change it. She's the one that changed the world, because she stood out there and she watched a police officer that's supposed to protect and serve kill my nephew, and she recorded it every second. And all she was doing was walking her little cousin to the store to get a pop. And she sat there, and you could hear her arguing, screaming, "Hey, let him go. You're killing him. He's dying." You seen there was a white lady that was going to get arrested. She was a nurse, and he's bleeding from the nose. The dude just pissed himself. His body just shut down. Help him. And they stood there. So, with that being said, people seen something that they ain't never seen before. The myth of white men killing Black folks never been videotaped or recorded. You got to sit here and watch this from the time they got him out of the car till they set him aside the building, till they brought him back to the car, and he said that he needed to lay down. You watched him holler, scream, beg, plead. And then you watched my nephew die right before our eyes. They threw him on the gurney like he was a piece of meat. They did not give one damn about him because he was just another dead Black dude. Everybody saw that. And let me get in the middle of the street and kill somebody and torture them like that. My ass don't leave the scene. They got to go home, lay in their bed, and sleep for weeks until the whole world got tired of being sick and tired, and everybody's saying that's wrong. And they start tearing this son of a bitch up. Now, if they would have not have started, it takes 4 things. It takes conversation, it takes conversation, it takes education, it takes irritation to get things going. And guess what happened? They started conversating, and they started getting things going. Now, just think, y'all, and I often think about this. If they would not have did anything, shook up the world, you think those boys would have been arrested? You think they would have been arrested?
No.
Absolutely.
I don't even think it would have been mentioned.
Absolutely not. It'd have been just another dead Black dude that was on drugs. And I get shit all the time. I had a dude send me some stuff. George Floyd has been sober for 6 months. George Floyd's been sober for 6 months because he's been dead.
Wow.
Is that some cruel shit?
This is the cruel part of it, in my opinion. Just because someone becomes addicted to something, let's say drugs, does not give you the right to give them their death sentence.
Judge, jury, executioner. When did you ever hear $19 and 99 pennies was a death sentence?
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
$20, $19 and 100 pennies was a death sentence.
Well, I can tell you.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I can tell you, it's been less than that for the last 400 years. You've had people die for way less than $19.
You have people die looking at people wrong.
Looking at people wrong, and I'm glad you said that, because
right.
One of the things that was said was people are just sick and tired of it, and that's the reason for it. Are you familiar with astrology?
I know what a star is.
Okay. Well,
Give it to me.
so now I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Thank you.
what I like for you to do is look up the age of Aquarius, and you'll see how the information has changed and how the sun is transmitting data here. And because of the time frame we're in, I think that's what is making people change. Because if Emmett Till's mother or grandmother, who I think it was his mother, right? After he was done the way he was done, she had an open casket because she wanted the world to see. And if that wasn't enough to make everybody sick and tired of it, I don't know what could. Just to listen it.
Think about that. They wrapped him up with barbed wire. They cut his testicles out. They set him on fire.
Tied him to a boat.
14 years old. 14 years old. And the same people that did that shit to him, they was at the damn, they got acquitted and they went out dancing the same night.
And not only that, the lady, now 162 years old, that's what she looked like.
The
come
old
out
bitch.
and said,
We don't.
yeah,
No respect.
Yeah,
she ain't no lady. She's a bitch.
yeah, the old.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Allison, you right. The old box
right.
came out and said that he never did anything to her. And in my opinion, if y'all and I'm gonna say it, and then we're gonna wrap this up because we got 3 minutes. But if y'all can go back and count the number of people that Bill Cosby touched and all this other stuff, how come y'all can't go after that old lady who said that this boy?
Yes, thank you, Allison.
Well, Allison,
why shouldn't she be seen it?
But old wench, there you go, Rashida, old wench.
I said what I said. I said what I said.
You did. Why can they not go after her and imprison her for what she caused for the rest of her little crusty life, which is probably 2 weeks?
Right.
Why?
So
why
I'm gonna say this because excellent interview. We're coming to a close now. And Selwyn, this is your time to shine, man. So you got a couple of minutes, man, to kind of hammer your point across, but also put where people can follow you and support you.
Instagram, Justice for George, 846. Facebook, Getting Justice for George. All I've got to say is let's just all be respectful of each other, no matter the color of your skin. Just think about this, kids. If you treat people the way that you want to be treated, we're not having this conversation. We're not having this conversation. You know, man, I could be angry. I could be mad. I am mad. I'm mad that the system has failed us because of the color of our skin. But guess what? We got a chance. And I'm damn sure going to give it a hell of a run. I am. I'm going to go. I can't go no more. Thank you, kids. Thank you. Maybe one day we can do this again. Allison, don't you smile at me, cousin.
With the plum on your lip. Don't you smile at him with the plum on your lip, cousin.
Right.
Allison, cousin. Hey, so I'm gonna say this, Selwyn. This has been an awesome interview and opportunity to sit down and discuss this matter with you. We really appreciate you, first of all, contacting us, being diligent, as well as coming on and making an awesome point. I respect everything you doing, my brother. Stay strong, and you have our support.
My brother. Hey, I will come to Texas because I heard the barbecue was pretty decent. Not like Goldsboro.
You might as well stay where you at. Stay where you at. No, come on, man. Y'all got to stop with the lies about the Texas barbecue.
Right.
Allison,
you're on
mute. Tex-Mex.
Allison,
it's a Tex-Mex. It's Texas barbecue.
Did you just make a crack about Goldsboro barbecue?
What?
That's what we're doing? Oh,
no,
okay.
It's a bait.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Texas ain't what's up. Head around. You got to move the damn head around. Hey, kid. God bless you.
Yes.
Happy New Year. Thank
Happy
you. Maybe
New
we can
Year.
do this again.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem. Happy
Thank
New
Hey,
Year,
Selwyn.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm gonna
Thank you
send
for
you some on
tuning
the
in.
Aquarius.
Share the video.
Send me a link.
Subscribe to our page. All of that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
We out of here.
Keep it locked.
Peace.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, time out. I am supposed to play the extra, right? The outro or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
It's
the
a special
outro.
show. Do you?
It's a special show.
Happy New
It's
Year.
up to you.
All right, we
like
out of
Rick
here,
Nash said,
y'all.
woo!
Fast Club, coming through. On Friday nights for you and your crew. Fast Club, got award after award, but we not gon' stop. 100 miles per hour, all the way to the top.